What's up, guys? I'm back with another quick tip here. This one I've actually had to deal with in my life, and I've had friends do this before, particularly a friend of mine when we were rappelling a route on Goat Wall. We made it about halfway down the route. This is a 10-pitch route, so we made maybe 5-6 rappels, and then he dropped his device, and we still had 6 rappels to go. So in this case, I have my device here, and I just dropped it off the climb. And so now I have to find an improvised way to rappel down the rest of the climb. The go-to for many people is usually a double-stranded Munter hitch. So they grab the rope, they make a big Munter hitch, clip it into the biggest locker they can find, and then they start rappelling down with it. Of course, everyone knows the huge downfall of this setup is that it will unimaginably kink your rope, and it will be very difficult to deal with even after the first rappel. As well as sometimes you can get the rope rubbing on certain hard materials that would be bad to have rope rubbing on it. And so it's definitely a possibility. There's nothing unsafe about it, but it's not the best method you can use. And that's the point of this tip video, is to show you a couple of better methods. First carabiner break I want to show you guys is using non-lockers. One of the first climbing instructional books I had when I was a kid had this exact method in it because it was an old school book and it didn't have like the newer techniques. So this is one of the first rappel methods I actually happened to learn on my own. Fun fact. So what I did is I started with 2 non-locking carabiners, opposite and opposed. I'm going to take 2 more non-locking carabiners, opposite and opposed. Yeah, I see, so now I got 4 all locked together. I'm going to take my rope and pass a bite up through, right there, up through the second set. And then I'm going to take 2 more non-lockers, and I'm going to clip them in between the strands of the rope. So I clipped this one with the front, or the top of the carabiner, this part, on this side. So I'm going to flip the carabiner over, this second one over, so that way the top of the carabiner is facing the other way. But the important part with these carabiners is they are not going to be opposite and opposed, because the spines of these 2 carabiners form a brake bar for me. And now I can pull rope through, and I can sit on this, and I have enough friction to actually rappel off the climb with. You can see how this takes a lot of technology here, and it's definitely a bit more old school. Back when everyone carried around a bunch of oval carabiners with them, that's when this method worked the best. What I did here is I took 6 quick draws. Everyone has alpine draws or sport quick draws on a climb with them, and I took the loose carabiner off of them, so that way they're all the same carabiner, and now I can rappel. It's important to have another set of carabiners down here, because you can get rub on your personal anchor from the rope, and that's moving rope over a static point, and then that can wear out your personal anchor and cause problems. So that's why it's very important to have another set of carabiners to elevate this whole setup off of your personal anchor. Another thing I can do now is just put on a third hand down here and then rappel down. Another thing you can do if your carabiners are having trouble clipping 1 and then clipping 2, like I was having trouble earlier, is you can drag the rope coming from the top and your strand up to the anchor up here, and then it's a lot easier to clip these carabiners in place, that one there, and then this one here, and then just let them slide over your next setup. Then you want to make sure the strands are nice and clean, and then there you have it. And then that also does make it easier to take apart when you're at the station, as you just pull them up, and then it's a lot easier to work around the rope to take these things off. So not everyone has a bunch of non-lockers at their disposal anymore, but a lot of people will carry around extra lockers on their climb. Now generally you probably dropped 1 or 2 lockers with your ATC, but as you see in my other videos, one of the reasons why I carry around 4 extra lockers with me are for situations like these. So what I can do is I can take 1 locker, clip it to where I would put my rappel device, make sure that's locked. I already have another locker on here, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to lock that one, actually. Notorious guys take a while. And now I'm going to pass the rope up through that one locker. And I'm going to take another locker and I'm going to clip the lower strand and then clip the upper strand. And lock that down. And now what I get is basically the same setup, only with less gear. This is also called a carabiner brake. One cool thing I can do is I can flip around the lockers so that way the two tiny ends, as opposed to the big baskets, the two bottom parts are together, and that will add more friction to the system. Now, it's very important that both of these lockers are the exact same lockers or the exact same size, because if you have one of these lockers folding into each other, then you're definitely gonna die. And people have died out and while employing this technique because they didn't use two of the same exact size lockers. However, this one here that's holding the thing to your personal anchor, this can be a different locker. So you can use like a small D locker here while you have your two equal size pair lockers there. And that's another reason why in my 4 lockers I carry with me, I always try to have 2 of the exact same ones for systems like this. So one thing I did learn about using this technique after my friend dropped their device over like 6 pitches was that the carabiner brake will still put twists into your rope, but not nearly as much as the Munter hitch. So one thing you can do is just hold the rope in your hand for the first person that goes down, and then as the second person coming down on the carabiner brake, just let the rope untwist itself in your hands. It's really nice over a long rappel to dangle the rope over an edge, so that way all the twists go out. But this will twist your rope a little bit, just not nearly as much as the Munter hitch.